in my hand a lovely thing called a guest assistance card that comes from one of the Disney parks. This one is from Disneyland. If you're not familiar with what this is, you may have heard about it a lot in the news this last week. This is what made Disneyland the happiest place on earth for individuals with autism, because it gave us the opportunity to get this card and be given different consideration. You'll notice that there's a place here, there are 6 different stamps that they can put here depending on what assistance the guest would need in the park. I can tell you that we went to Disneyland once after my son had autism, and we didn't know about the card, and it was the worst day of my life. But every day that we had this card, it was the most enjoyable trip. It was the only vacation that my family could participate in for years. So I feel very emotional about this pass because it stands for all things that are happy. Of course, the news broke last week that Disney was changing this pass. We were aware of the fact that Disney was considering that because earlier this year the story came out that there were people who were taking advantage of this pass, hiring individuals with disabilities and asking them to give their family a tour so that they could access their pass. I do have to say that this pass didn't always mean that you got on a ride quicker. It meant that you were held in a different area sometimes, or that you came back sometimes. It meant different things for different rides, but it didn't always mean that you got on the ride quicker. For some of the rides, it did turn out to be that. And that's why it was a very prized thing for both people with different abilities and people who wanted to take advantage of it. So the story broke that Disney was getting rid of this, retiring this, and that they were moving to something called the Disabled Assistance System. Already, I have to say, not as warm and fuzzy as guest assistance. Already we put the word disabled in there, which is perhaps troubling to some who are watching. There were many conflicting stories. We went to the source of information and asked them for a comment. After much cajoling, we were told that the new system is going to roll out on the 9th of October in just a few days. And here is what Disney wrote for us. This is their statement. We have an unwavering commitment to making our parks accessible, to all guests. Given the increasing volume of requests we receive for special access to our attractions, we are changing our process to create a more consistent experience for all our guests while providing accommodations for guests with disabilities. We engaged disability groups such as Autism Speaks to develop this new process, which is in line with the rest of our industry. They will not and have not outlaid for us all of the different things that will entail. There are some answers to some frequently asked questions. How will the new Disney program work? All that they will say is the Disability Access Service Card will offer guests a return time for an attraction based on the current wait time. Guest assistance cards will continue to be effective until October 9th. We look forward to sharing more information as we get closer to implementation. The sources that leaked the information have said that there will be kiosks. We don't have confirmation about this, but there will be kiosks around the park where you will have to go, stand in line, get a ticket to come back to that ride in another time. I don't have to tell those of you who have children on the autism spectrum what a nightmare that will be if that is what Disneyland is considering to do. To say to a child, oh, you want to ride on this ride? Let's walk halfway across the park to stand in line at a place that doesn't look fun for you so that we can get a ticket so we can go back to the ride and stand in line again there. Not what any of us would consider the happiest place on earth. I especially take issue with a line in the Disney Park media relation comment where it says, we will be in line with the rest of our industry. I would like to respectfully say to you, Disneyland, what we counted on you was to be the happiest place on earth, not to be in line with everyone else. The reason why we come to Disneyland is because you treat our kids as if they are equal and give consideration and give justice so that our kids can access your park in a way that they couldn't have before. If you are going to be in line with the rest of the industry, we will be back to square one and you will no longer be the happiest place on earth. I urge you, for all of the parents out there who have had access this. I have said many times when people have asked me, how did my marriage survive the early years of autism? This is why we survived. Please don't do away with this. Please reconsider. And we hope that they listen. If you are interested, there are petitions you can sign, and if you'd like more information about my personal journey with this pass and the difference that it made in our lives, it's all in the blog that's on our site right now. You can visit it by going here, and I urge you to sign the petition because Disneyland is listening, and if they hear from enough of us, I say in the blog, how many mouse ears does it take? For them to hear us? I don't know, but let's see if we can't find out. I hope you're listening, Disneyland.